And a lot of people will say, Tank is too small. Let me tell you something. Anybody that gets in the ring with Tank that is not a damn dinosaur is going to feel something from it. And it ain't going to be easy to hit it. Got boxing IQ. He may not sound like an intellectual guy when you hear him talk, but he knows the ring inside and out.
In Florida, man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots.
Oh, Tank's going to kill him. Tank's going to kill him because he won't be able to touch Tank. And then...
Okay. It's kind of like the Tyson thing again, though, right? Like when
it reminded me of that, but it also reminded me of like, in barbershops across the world, people, or at least the country, people will talk about this and be like, oh, Tank's going to kill him because he will not get hit.
The boxing world is buzzing as Gervonta "Tank" Davis steps into fight week looking sharper than ever ahead of his clash with Jake Paul. Recent training footage shows Davis unleashing thunderous shots on the heavy bag, his movements crisp, his power explosive, and his focus unshakable. The intensity of his workouts has left analysts and fans alike praising his elite conditioning and laser-focused mindset. Experts agree that Davis has a strong chance to win, but only if he approaches the fight with discipline and strategy. They stress that Tank's key to victory lies not in hunting for an early knockout, but in using his superior movement, ring IQ, and timing to break Jake down. Tank's brilliance, they note, has always come from his patience, his ability to read opponents, adapt mid-fight, and strike when it matters most. While Davis is known for his devastating knockout power, analysts highlight that his true danger lies in his defense and counterpunching ability. When Tank fights smart, balancing aggression with precision and control, many believe no opponent at Jake Paul's level can match his combination of skill, speed, and explosive power.
Can his speed and, his ability make up for that size difference, in your honest opinion?
Well, he has to be very smart throughout the course of the fight. It's hard to know in some things. I think Gervonta's just going to, stick and move. He'll be fast, play it smart, I don't see him staying still for too long so Jake can land some shots. He'll just try to touch him. Who knows, man? It's an exhibition. It's a money grab. Jake's fighting one of the best boxers ever.
Experts are warning that Jake Paul may face a harsh awakening when he finally steps into the ring with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. They point out that Tank's combination of experience, speed, and fight IQ far surpasses anything Jake has encountered in his professional career. While Jake's previous opponents were strong athletes, none possessed Tank's explosive timing or his uncanny ability to exploit even the smallest openings. Analysts emphasize that the power disparity could be decisive. Once Tank lands clean, Jake may struggle to withstand it. Jake's defense, still considered raw and untested at this level, contrasts sharply with Davis's seasoned ring awareness, which allows him to anticipate and manipulate every movement. Many believe a knockout is almost inevitable. When Tank connects, Jake is unlikely to have the endurance, defensive skill, or composure to recover, potentially resulting in a sudden and brutal finish.
Tank Davis look crazy, bro. Chilaquiles. Gervonta "Tank" Davis hitting a heavy bag in preparation for his Jake Paul fight November 14th down there in Florida. Man looks absolutely amazing. Man looks like a monster. Man looks like precision. Jake Paul cannot take those body shots. You mean to tell me somebody who done fought UFC fighters and a man with Parkinson's disease can take a body punch from Gervonta "Tank" Davis, and y'all basing y'all logic just because Jake Paul is big? No, Tank's gonna go ahead and put this man to sleep. I'm telling y'all that right now. If Tank don't put this man to sleep, he done let the black community down, he done let boxing down, and he ain't never been that nice. You Tank fans, y'all trying to give him a pass. If y'all said Tank is as skilled as y'all say he is, if he does not put Jake Paul to sleep and stop Jake Paul, his boxing career is absolutely voided. He already don't care about legacy, and just imagine he don't knock out Jake Paul, and now y'all want to say it's not a real fight, it's an exhibition. No, we not giving no passes, bro. This Gervonta Tank Davis. He needs to put Jake Paul to sleep. I don't want to hear nothing about, Jake Paul too big. No, Jake Paul chin ain't never been tested by somebody that hit as hard as Gervonta Tank Davis. Tank should put this man to sleep with ease. I'll say that respectfully. If you don't put him to sleep,
a 2-pack of ass. That shit stinks.
That's a 2-pack of ass at the highest level. And it's a musty energy at the highest level. Get it together. Get it together. Tank looks amazing. That's the Chilla Killers.
Chilla Killers. Chilla Killers.
The issue of weight has emerged as one of the most hotly debated aspects of this matchup. Critics argue that the size difference between Jake Paul and Gervonta Tank Davis is simply too large to overlook, questioning whether the fight should even happen. On the other hand, many believe Tank's refined skill set and elite technique will more than compensate for any physical disparity. Fans and analysts remain divided, but Tank supporters point to his speed, discipline, and precision as evidence that he can outperform larger opponents with relative ease. They stress that boxing is not just about size, it's about control, angles, timing, and intelligence inside the ring. Observers note that Jake's fundamentals are still limited at this level and that Tank's technical mastery will likely neutralize any advantage Jake's larger frame might provide.
It is happening. WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis, who's unbeaten in 31 professional contests, takes on the self-proclaimed problem child Jake Paul, one of the most influential and marketable global personalities. Paul and Davis square off in Miami after doubts around the fight being sanctioned in Georgia triggered a change in venue. Neither fighter can weigh more than 195 pounds. The weight is perhaps the most surprising factor. Paul has boxed most of his career around 200 pounds, the cruiserweight limit, but did tip the scales at 227 pounds when he faced off against Iron Mike Tyson last year. Davis, much smaller in stature, competes at the 135 pound mark and has also won world honours at super featherweight.
And despite some discussions about possibly dropping down to 10 ounces, the pair seem set to wear 12-ounce gloves.
And in terms of distance, despite the exhibition tag, the fight will play out over 10 3-minute rounds with 3 scoring judges at ringside, but the result will not be officially recorded on their professional records.
Michael Bisping recognizes Gervonta Tank Davis's immense power and skill but cautions that size cannot be entirely dismissed. While he respects Tank's proven ability to adapt against larger opponents, Bisping notes that physical differences always play some role in a fight. According to Bisping, Tank can outthink and outmaneuver Jake Paul, yet the weight gap could test his endurance and ability to absorb heavier shots. Still, he admires Tank's focus and determination, insisting that if anyone is capable of overcoming such a challenge, it's him. Bisping concludes that while the size factor is real, Davis's technical superiority, combined with a disciplined and flawless strategy, could still neutralize Jake's physical advantage.
Out there taking on Mike Tyson that's pushing 60 years old, for crying out loud, but at the same time pretending to be like this badass motherfucker, sending me DMs talking. He offered me a contract a long time ago and I was like, what are you doing? I'm a retired fighter and I've got one eye. Why would I want to fight you? I wouldn't lower myself to doing that. I know a lot of people do that. They do lower themselves, if you want to say that, because of the payday, because Jake Paul is a big name. He is a social media sensation. He's a YouTube star. And now, of course, in the world of boxing, he's one of boxing's biggest stars because he puts on these spectacles like Paul versus Tyson, like Nate Diaz, because these are the fighters, these are the names that attract the eyes. Jake Paul is the B-side to almost every single one of his fights. When he fought Nate Diaz, people were tuning in for Nate Diaz. His last fight against Cesar Chavez Jr., apparently no one watched that fight. Apparently the pay-per-views were ridiculously low. So this one's going back to Netflix on November 14th, and it's an exhibition bout. Of course, it's an exhibition bout because no athletic commission in their right mind will sanction this fight. There's just no way you can make this a legitimate fight because of the size advantage. Typically, this will be very, very dangerous, and someone could get really hurt. If Jake Paul was to swing as hard as he could and connect and wobble him and hit him many times and not knock him out, with the bigger gloves and the concussion possibilities and the brain rattling around inside the head, and Jake Paul just teeing off at him as hard as he could, it's dangerous. That's why fights like this can't get sanctioned. That's why this is a exhibition bout and not a real matchup. Now listen, they're both going to get paid tremendously. They're going to make a ton of money, and a lot of people are going to tune in and watch it on Netflix. Fair play.
Several analysts have pushed back against claims that Gervonta "Tank" Davis's career has been overhyped or undervalued. They argue that fighters who have shared the ring with Tank often see their own profiles skyrocket afterward. For instance, relatively unknown opponents like Lamont gain significant recognition and momentum following bouts with Davis. These experts assert that this underscores Tank's influence and star power within boxing. They reject the notion that he isn't a central figure in the sport, pointing out that his fights consistently create opportunities for others and keep fans engaged. To them, dismissing Davis's legacy ignores the reality that simply stepping into the ring with him elevates the visibility and credibility of his opponents, highlighting the broader impact of his career.
Ongoing discussion in the boxing world about Gervonta Davis and Gervonta Davis, his resume, who he's going to fight, the competitors that he's going to fight. And every once in a while, something happens that proves that Gervonta Davis is the face of that. If he's not the face of boxing because people just don't want him to be that, man, he is real close to it, because other than Canelo Alvarez, and even consider Canelo Alvarez included, nobody in boxing has divisions circulating around him like Gervonta Davis does. And that was proved during this Lamont Roach versus Pitbull Cruz announcement for their pay-per-view. Just think about this. Gervonta Davis, they always say that Gervonta Davis has a poor resume, but yet Gervonta Davis, guys that fight Gervonta Davis, lose to Gervonta Davis, or get a draw to Gervonta Davis, can fight one another and make an anticipated pay-per-view between the two of them. Because that fight with Pitbull Cruz is a very, very popular fighter with Mexican fight fans. Lamont Roach got a lot of name exposure with black fight fans and Mexican fight fans and white fight fans, all with his draw that he got against Gervonta Davis. Now they believe that this is going to be able to be a profitable endeavor for a pay-per-view. Now, let me also tell you that Rolly Romero, who was somebody else that Gervonta Davis fought in the past, will be on a pay-per-view that's going to be successful, most likely, when he defends his WBC 140-pound championship. Or does he have the WBA?
Coach Reg provides a measured perspective on the criticism aimed at Gervonta "Tank" Davis. He reminds fans that Tank has already accomplished more than most fighters his age and sees nothing wrong with pursuing high-paying bouts once a boxer has proven themselves. According to Reg, Tank deserves the opportunity to secure his financial future after years of hard work and risk in the ring. He notes that every fighter eventually reaches a stage where life-changing paydays become a legitimate priority. Reg believes that critics often overlook Tank's significant contributions to the sport and underestimate his dedication. In his view, whether Tank chooses to retire soon or continue competing, he has already cemented his status as one of the premier lightweights of his generation.
You know what I mean? Especially Tank been talking about retiring, so why not get the bag and then go about your business if that's your plan? I mean, if that's your plan to retire, then go get the bag and go about your business. You ain't doing nothing wrong. I'm not against it.
You got some people that are very critical of Tank. Does it make sense depending on what you're in boxing for? Because you got some people that want to fight the best. You got some people that want the accolades, the belts, the undisputed. And you got some people that just came in this game like, look, I'm trying to get my family out of poverty and give us generational wealth. Does it all depend on what you decided to box for?
Well, Tank accomplished a lot at a young age. You know what I mean? He accomplished a lot at a young age. So I wouldn't be mad if he took the bag and went about his business and never fought again. You know what I mean? Plus, look at some of the things that he's going through. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of that can affect you as well. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to be in this game. So I think, get the bag and go. That's your plan. Get the bag and go.
For me, of course, I wanted to see him fight Shakur. I wanted to see him fight Devin.
Yeah, we all wanted to see him fight.
Guess what, bro?